Okay, so good evening everybody. It's lovely. I think this is the biggest crowd we've probably had in however many years. So it's lovely to see you all, and thank you for turning out this evening.
That's good.
I was just going to say, just on a point of order, I wouldn't normally have my phone on, but our granddaughter is quite poorly and we've had to ring 111, so I'm just keeping my phone on in case I have a call. So I wouldn't normally do that, so I'm just, fingers crossed I don't hear anything, but apologies now if I suddenly have to run out of the room. So I just thought I would put that out there. Right. Val, have we got apologies?
Just Deborah Bridge.
Now I know most of you know most of us, but Chrissy, you probably don't know a lot of us, do you? So shall we just go round just so you know who's who? I think you know this troublesome one at the end here.
It dragged me along tonight.
Did she? Yeah. She has the habit of doing that. So I don't know.
No man number.
Yeah. Okay, so you know Helen.
I'm Catherine and I'm the lettings officer.
I'm Nicola and I'm the
I know you, Nicola, yeah.
Henry's
With
best friend.
doubles, yes.
I'm Heather in the parish.
And my neighbour.
I'm Leslie, I'm the treasurer.
And I'm Liz, I'm the chair.
I'm Val, I'm the secretary.
I'm Doreen and I'm a retiring trustee and WI rep.
I'm Karen and I'm a rep for Brownies.
Thank you.
So, I think you've probably all got a quick copy of the minutes of the last meeting, the AGM. They're fairly short and to the point, mainly because the main bulk of the meeting tends to be a very boring chair's report, I apologise now, and then the important bit, which is the finances, which obviously Leslie will go through. We always elect our officers at the meeting before this, but then we go through it again just so that everybody knows who's who and it's formally seconded and all the rest of it. And then there's any other business, and if you've got any queries or anything you want to ask us about, then feel free at that point in the meeting. So is everybody happy with the minutes? You can make that amendment, Heather. And I'll sign this for you. Right. So, as I say, it's sadly one of the chair's more exciting tasks, or not, to have to do a chair's report. Our sort of AGMs have got a little bit out of sync because of COVID, and last year we covered sort of an 18-month period. Our sort of year, our formal year, and our financial year goes from the end of January to the end of January, but I tend to be a little bit sort of fluid with the dates, and I'll sort of give you a précis of really what we've done almost up to now for you, and I just touch on a few things for going forward, but my report won't include all the things the committee will be doing going forward, because that would be for them to report on next year, if that makes sense. Right. I hate doing this. I could do with so I can see, and I could probably also do with a new pair of glasses. It's very, very similar to last year, but there will be some interesting bits within it, I hope. Anyway, so firstly, don't really know. I would like to welcome everyone to the 2022 AGM of the Hilton Village Hall Management Committee. And although we have moved on from the intense COVID pandemic, the impact is still being felt across communities, and the whole world order seems to be in turmoil, adding further stresses to all in our community and country. And therefore the importance of sustaining the village hall as a community amenity, I think, is more important than ever. I think it is helpful for all of us to be reminded of the purpose of the village hall as set out in our conveyance document. and the land and the building is held upon trust for the use of the residents of Hilton and the neighbourhood for recreation, education and leisure, with the object of improving the conditions of life for all of our villagers. As a management committee, our main focus is to endeavour to keep the hall financially strong, structurally sound and regularly updated where possible. So I'll also clarify the structure of the committee, which is mandated in our charter document. And the committee consists of 3 officers, usually 3 trustees, and a number of co-opted members representing the groups that use our hall regularly, but we can co-opt other members on as well if we so choose. So the officers this past year have been myself as chairman, Val Dolby as secretary and Leslie Fordham as treasurer and vice chair, with Catherine Grant as our lettings officer. And our trustees have included Doreen Bates, Leslie Fordham and myself. But this will change going forwards due to resignations from the committee, and they will now consist at the moment of Nicola Webster and Sarah Conn. Our representative members, since our last AGM, the committee has consisted of Karen Baker, who represents Brownies, Doreen Bates, who's represented the WI, Nicola Webster, who's represented Peace Week, Heather Chambers as our parish council rep, and then we've had Helen Atwood and Deb Bridge as what we call members without portfolio. And we also include the village hall caretaker, Alistair Sire, who can also come to committee meetings. The role of caretaker is vital to the upkeep of this wonderful community amenity, and the building would rapidly deteriorate if we were not able to actively care and maintain it. Unfortunately, Alistair found with new family commitments he was unable to commit the time necessary for the caretaker role, and therefore the village hall is again without a permanent caretaker, and the new committee will be actively seeking to recruit to this pivotal member of our team. Now, I haven't put it in my report, but I think it's a right time for me to thank the committee, because a lot of the members have really supported over the last few months when we haven't had Alistair, with things like putting out the bins and doing some maintenance and keeping the village hall sort of safe, if you like. So my thanks particularly go really to all the committee members, to Ken Atwood, who's helped a lot, and Andy Bush, who's regularly put out the bins. So thank you for that.
And Guy Elby.
There are a couple of fundraising community elements that require a particular note of thanks. So Helen Atwood yet again pulled off a major fundraising achievement. I think it was February, was it Helen, this year? A Christmas village pantomime again, which was another momentous success. And as before, Helen somehow managed to write, direct the pantomime, masterminded the costume design, makeup, set, ticket sales, and all things necessary to produce a couple of evenings and a matinee performance of glorious entertainment for the whole village. Funds raised from this event were used to overhaul our outside space. And Ken and Helen, with their usual zeal for a project, turned a tired, underutilised space into a calm and welcoming area for hirers and visitors to the village to sit and reflect and enjoy the village from another outside perspective. And this new element of the village hall has been enjoyed by so many over the wonderful summer we've had in 2022, and will hopefully continue to do so for many years to come. Now, due to all of Helen's hard work and enthusiasm for projects, the Village Hall Committee felt it appropriate to nominate Helen for a Council Rural Volunteer Award for her commitment to our local community. And Helen has been awarded highly commended, and you will be able to see a photograph of Helen with her certificate in this month's Spectrum. And words don't really sort of match up, but well done, Helen, and richly deserved. Thank you very much. Also from a community service aspect, the Village Hall Committee Tea on the Green sort of drop-in amenity continues to run successfully on the day when the library van visits the village. And as with all of these things, it needs a band of committed volunteers to ensure this runs smoothly. And therefore I thank all of the helpers who have supported this valuable community hub. But special thanks must go to Karen Baker, Doreen Bates and Leslie Fordham, who've really been the linchpin of Tea on the Green this year, so thank you very much. Our main event this year was of course the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. The Village Hall Committee provided a framework of events supported by many local groups to enable a fun-filled weekend for the whole village. The events included wonderful interactive elements from the community garden and that catered for all of the family, church services, feast week food and drink evening events which were enjoyed by us all, and then we had our open air production of Peter Pan by Illyria. Unfortunately, this coincided with probably one of the few days of rain across the whole of the summer of 2022. And this did have an impact on the event, but as always, the committee amended well-laid plans with less than 12 hours notice. And although it was not what we would have wanted for the day, we were able to still hold the event, provide refreshments and picnic facilities for one or two hardened souls, and watch an open-air theatre production that was enjoyed by families of all ages. We were able to cover all of our costs, which was our main aim. This was not a fundraising event, as we were conscious of keeping costs to families to a minimum and providing entertainment for our local community. These weekend celebrations are never easy to organise, always involve a huge commitment from a small committee and hours of time given freely and with good grace. And again, I'd like to take this opportunity to give my heartfelt thanks to all the committee who worked so hard to make Hilton's celebration of the Queen's Jubilee such a special event. So Christmas, and again another wondrous Christmas tree, was secured from a very generous village resident, and by golly it was a big tree this year, and was strategically placed outside the hall, festooned with lights to ensure that there was true festive feel to the village. And thanks here must go to Ken Atwood, Andy Bush, Steve Bridge, Guy Dolby, Gary Fordham and Chris Potter for all their hard work in making it work. And I can assure you that requests have already gone out for this year's tree. So if you know of anyone wishing to remove a potential Christmas tree from their garden, or if you've got one of your own, then do let us know and we will put it to good use. Finance. So I'm going to leave the financial position and the more detailed information around grants received to Leslie in her financial report later in the agenda. However, I can assure you that we do remain financially viable and continue to update and improve the hall where possible. Obviously, one of our major concerns going forwards will be the management of our utility bills across this challenging winter and next year. And as for most of us, the element of just not knowing the full impact of price hikes makes it more difficult to manage. Improvements. We continue to review what would improve the village hall for all of our hirers and try and tailor fundraising goals to try and achieve this. And we are still working hard to enable Wi-Fi into the village hall and have linked in with county broadband, and hopefully we will see this project come to fruition over the coming year. So we are also in the process of going out to bids to replace the 3 external fire doors, and hopefully this project will be completed by the end of this year. We're just waiting for the final 2 bids. And thanks must go to Guy Dolby for all of his expert help with securing professional and appropriate bids for this element of the village hall. It isn't easy because obviously it's a Grade 2 listed building and we have to maintain those elements. So again, with it being a Grade 2 listed building, its upkeep is far from straightforward, but one of our main aims is to ensure that it is structurally sound, and we continue to monitor closely any issues that would impact on the hiring of the hall. We have had a few concerns the latter part of this summer with wasps, but we have had pest control experts out to deal with them, and hopefully those issues are resolved, but we will continue to monitor it. For bookings, we have strong bookings are at the core of our ability to remain financially viable. And however, as for all village halls in the area, it is a constant battle to remain competitive in the market, cover running and maintenance costs, and this will be an ever-increasing challenge over the coming years. Management of the bookings is a hugely time-consuming and onerous task, and one which Catherine manages incredibly well alongside the challenges of a young family. And I would like to express my thanks to Catherine for all her support for the village hall to enable the committee to function and the village to enjoy the amenity. So thanks. Cleanliness. So the cleanliness of the hall is essential again to maintaining our business and happy customers, and this will always be another main focus for the management committee. Our cleaner, Sandra Neal, has continued to cope with all the challenges of maintaining an old building within the constraints of current COVID guidelines, and I would like to thank her for her commitment to the village hall and the high standards that she maintains. Just briefly touching on upcoming events. So, as in previous years, the committee needs to undertake fundraising events, but will need to rethink our programme as times have changed, and what worked in previous years may not be so achievable or desirable now, and this will be another challenge for our new committee. However, next year there will be the coronation of King Charles III, and this will provide an opportunity for the village hall to support events to enable our village to celebrate in style. And we will have a new committee in place, and I know they will come up with some exciting and enjoyable events. Sadly, as I did last year at this point in my report, I have to take this opportunity to voice my main worry for the coming years for the Village Hall Management Committee. We have been a fairly steady group for the many years I have been involved, but none of us are getting any younger, and some of our most stalwart members now feel the time has come to step aside and let others take on the mantle of supporting our community amenity. So this time, sadly, we are losing Doreen Bates, Leslie Fordham, Val Dolby, Deb Bridge and myself. And between us, we have given, I think it's getting near to 90 years of support to the Village Hall. And I think that's an amazing commitment that deserves acknowledgement and thanks here. Our new committee going forwards will consist of Nicola Webster as our chair, Sarah Conn as our treasurer, Karen Baker, Helen Atwood, Heather Chambers and Catherine Grant. So therefore our committee membership is very small for the amount of hard work and commitment required to run this hall properly. So we desperately need enthusiastic and willing new members to join us to keep this amenity alive. And without new membership to support us, the hard decision to close the Village Hall will be a very real consideration, and I feel an incredibly detrimental one for our village. So please do think of joining us, or if you know of any new neighbours to the village who you feel may enjoy being a member of this fun committee, do get in touch with one of the committee members and have a chat. As I say, this continues, I think, to be our biggest challenge for the coming years, and we need your help and support if the Village Hall is going to remain a viable amenity to be enjoyed by all. I have, over the past few years, when delivering this last bit of my report, started with "in challenging times." I keep hoping that I could change that, but 2021 and 2022 has continued to call on our resilience and community spirit, and will do so, I think, for quite some time yet. It has been a period of time like no other for all of us, and certainly challenging for the management committee. And this village amenity would not exist without the tireless efforts of this small band of wonderful people, and it has been a real privilege to be part of this team. So Val, who took on the mantle of secretary this year, who has been truly amazing, and neither the committee as a whole nor myself as chair could have got through this year without you. So sincere thanks.
Thank you.
Leslie, our treasurer and previously lettings officer for so many years, I couldn't remember quite how many, so I thought I wouldn't count. But it definitely feels like the end of a chapter, and it certainly won't be the same. Doreen, what can I say? I didn't try and count up how many years of service you've given to the village hall, but you have been an absolute stalwart of the village hall over decades, I think. And you will be sorely missed. Debs, who can't be here tonight, who came on the committee this year to help us out, despite having a really demanding role as one of our very special community nurses, and she has a family to keep in check as well. And she came up with the wonderful idea of water butts, when the rest of us were struggling to think of where to put an outside tap. So what a difference she's made. But also thanks to Catherine, as I say, our lettings officer, Helen, Karen, Nicola, Heather, Sandra, and Alistair, our ex-caretaker, for the time that he was with us. So lastly, but certainly not least, I want to wish our new Village Hall committee members the very best of luck in taking this village amenity forward. I know you will all be amazing, and I look forward to all the new and exciting events and projects you will provide for the village. And thank you for taking on the challenge. Thank you. So if you're all still awake and fallen asleep, that's
It's my turn now.
I know, I do. It's Leslie.
Fortunately, I haven't got quite as much to say as this.
Sorry.
As you've all had, and I think copies have been sent out as well, a copy of our accounts for the year. This year's figures reflect obviously the running costs of the hall for the year, but really the hiring only reopened in September 2021. So obviously what we would normally get is probably quite a lot less. But as we said, Catherine's doing a cracking job, and certainly the hall will be in a better position from bookings for the forthcoming year. We were very, very fortunate in securing grants. Some had gone into the previous year, and this year, this coming year, to the 31st of January 2022, we secured grants of £17,374 from the HDC, which have helped with the running costs of the hall. Our hires have started to return to us again, and the hall is now fully functional, which is fantastic. We have made a profit over the year, but mainly due to the fact we'd had the government grants. The figure in repairs and renewals of 9,000 reflects in the sound system, which Andy, Ken and Julian were heavily involved in and spent hours